For the first time in 29 years, the 007 license is back in the hands of competent developers. No offense to Nightfire, it's a good game, but Eurocom has always been a Best Buy bargain bin tier developer, and as such, any quality titles that came from them have always been more luck of the draw than skilled craftsmanship. With First Light bringing James Bond back into the zeitgeist of the gaming sphere, it's only natural that the best 007 game ever made, Goldeneye, gets brought along with it. And that'll bring about all the usual talking points, like why did the industry stop making Bond games? And that's an easy one to answer. It's because EA and Activision drove 007 into the ground with a slew of titles ranging from underwhelming to straight shit, killing consumer faith in the IP and turning it into a monetary black hole where funding goes in and profits never come out. Anyway, we'll be playing on real hardware because I'm a horn dog for N64. Don't ask me why my label is in shit condition. This is a used copy bought at my local Game Crazy in like 2003. My childhood copy was stolen and sold for meth money along with some other titles. Rest assured, I take far better care of my game labels than this. So let's bust out the Jungle Green, nuke a file, 00 agent, leave controls in 1.1 because I'm a Neanderthal who never evolved to 1.2, and switch this bitch from 4.3 to 16:9. The game begins in the year of our Lord, 1986, where MI6 Agent 007 is on a mission to destroy a Soviet chemical weapons facility. Damn is a great example of how to do a movie tie-in game right. Rare could have easily followed the film to the T and made Facility the first level in the game, and had Bond do the bungee jump in the opening cinematic, but they said fuck that and expanded upon it, taking what was nothing more than an excuse to open the movie with an epic stunt and turning it into one of the best opening levels in video game history, providing the player a safe environment to learn the mechanics, controls, and flow of the game. Much like Marathon and Dark Forces, the goal isn't just get to the exit. You're on a mission, and missions have objectives. Unlike the previously mentioned games, you can leave the levels without completing those objectives, but you're an idiot if you do so. Mission failed. Objective A, destroy all alarms, is just kinda there. Like they really wanted a reason for you to explore the whole dam on higher difficulties, but couldn't think of anything else better to do. Compared to installing a modem on a satellite control console, then battling your way through the cramped corridors of a dam towards an underground computer lab so you can initiate a full off-site data backup of the lab servers, which will be intercepted and transmitted back to MI6 courtesy of the modem we installed earlier, then bungee jumping off said dam to access a chemical weapons facility through its ventilation system? Destroying all alarms is kinda lame in comparison. Anywho, weapons, ammo, health, and armor don't carry over between levels, and you'll always start with a clean slate. Facility is the most iconic level in all of GoldenEye, due in no small part to it being one of the best multiplayer maps in the game, and the notorious invincibility cheat, which I'll touch on later. The objectives in Facility are fine. A is to enter a room that leads to the real objectives, and E, minimize scientist casualties, introduces us to the novel concept of not killing people in an FPS. I've always found this one funny because we're about to flood the whole building with nerve gas, killing everybody inside anyway. GoldenEye began life as an on-rail shooter, heavily influenced by Sega's Virtua Cop, but switched to a proper first-person shooter fairly early in development. A few remaining elements from the on-rails days are this aiming reticle, which comes in super handy on 00, and a few super linear levels, namely Dam, Facility, and Silo. I guess in an effort to make Facility feel less linear, Rare decided to make Objective B, Contact Double Agent, one of the only randomized objectives in the entire game. We need to find Dr. Doak, a scientist who has the door decoder that'll get us into the bottling room. Doak spawns in one of 7 locations, the first 2 of which are in the side rooms of this hallway, the 3 best are right near the end of the level, and the worst are these 2, in a far-off room rocking the world's slowest double-door airlock system. My luck being what it is, Doak was here and in the worst of the 2 possible spots. Enemies in GoldenEye have a whole myriad of attack animations. Which one they play depends on a variety of factors. There's an animation my brother christened the Terminator Walk. It has the fastest wind-up of all animations, and unlike the others, it loops. They will not stop shooting at you until their line of sight is obscured or their leisurely stroll finally gets them too close to you. And these 3 fucks are all hard-coded to Terminator Walk on your ass, so save yourself the headache and burn a remote mine on them. The mines are for destroying the chemical weapon tanks, but using one on the bullshit guards is fine because you can just drop 4 of them on the floor like so and it'll handle business perfectly. Shoutouts to Trev for showing the wall who's boss. General Oramov and co. arrive with immaculate timing and put Trev in the ground, so we detonate the mines and excuse ourselves. Runway is another good level. We need to grab an ignition key from this building before we can make our way down the runway, or our escape vehicle will laugh at us. In lieu of a motorcycle, we get a fucking tank. And running over people is genuinely hilarious. The runway itself is littered with anti-air, 3 serious shit turrets and an AA battery, all primed and ready to swat any unwanted air traffic right out of the sky. So naturally, objectives B and C are to take those bad boys out. I want to take a moment to talk about health and damage in Goldeneye real quick. You have 8 health represented by 8 orange bars. Yes, the big bars are worth just as much as the small ones. Excluding explosives, there are 15 guns in the campaign, and 8 of them deal 1 damage per shot. Weapon diversity in Goldeneye is sparse to say the least, with rate of fire and accuracy making up most of the difference in weapons, but not in the hands of the enemy, courtesy of some very generous iframes after every hit taken, with more and more frames being granted per hit the lower your health goes. This means weapons like the KF-7, D5K, and DD-44 are virtually identical in damage output when wielded by the enemy, despite being vastly different from each other, as most shots will be negated by your iframes. I bring this up to point out that the turrets are insanely accurate, will not stop firing until they're destroyed or lose sight of you, and deal 2 damage per hit. The tank reduces all incoming damage by 75%, so unless you're the goat of Arlene mine throws, the tank is gonna be your best friend. After stealing the plane and making our escape, we jump ahead 5 years to 1991. We're being sent to Severnaya to investigate an influx of military activity in the area. Surface is fine and I don't hate it, I just don't like it. Redundant objectives are a bit of a thing in Goldeneye. I wouldn't mind them so much if the game didn't cap out at 5 objectives per level, but it is what it is. Obtain safe key and steal building plans. Clearly, Rare knows there's a level of needlessness in these objectives because the building plans for Objective C are in the safe key is locked in a separate cabin, and retrieving the cabin key isn't an objective. They could have added an extra objective, or combined B and C and added 2 more to fill the level out and make it feel less desolate, but no such luck. Enemies can see and shoot through the snow in this level, so these tall mounds of snow along the paths provide no cover or concealment. Heavens protect you if you get Terminator walked in this level. Objective A, Power Down Communications Dish, requires you to enter the satellite building and interact with a computer. That little tidbit will be important later, but for now I need to nail the grenade launcher shot. Yeah, personally I'd rather get hung up on the ladder than miss the grenade shot, but maybe that's just me. Bunker is another fun level. While Surface may be the first truly non-linear level in Goldeneye, Bunker is the first good one. 5 objectives for you to tackle in nearly any order you desire. Destroy all security cameras is fun from a gameplay standpoint, as you run the risk of sounding an alarm while you handle them. A much better objective than destroying all alarms, if I do say so myself. I like to play Bunker slow and methodical at the start, taking out cameras and guards until it's just me and Boris left. Then I copy the Goldeneye key and snap a picture of the big screen while I shepherd Boris to the mainframe to handle objectives C and D. Activating the mainframe sounds an alarm, and Infinite Yanis Special Forces start rushing the bunker. They're annoying because they're loaded with armor, and damaging armor doesn't trigger a pain state, so they'll take twice as long to kill and no stun lock until they're half dead. Silo is possibly the best of the super linear levels. Jumping ahead 2 years to 93, we're being sent to a missile silo in Kyrgyzstan to stop the Russians from launching the Goldeneye weapons satellite into space. And the best way to do that is to blow the whole silo sky high. This shit never happened in the film, but hot damn is it one of the best levels in the game and a fantastic example of how to take creative liberties with source material. Rare decided to mix things up with Silo. All of that spy shit is fine and dandy, but what about a guns blazing shooting gallery? Run in, kill everybody, steal some satellite hardware and telemetric data, take some photos, plant a bunch of C4, and minimize scientist casualties because your C4 has an unquenchable bloodlust and would be very grateful if you could save some kills for them too. It's so amped for the killing, in fact, that it automatically arms itself and starts ticking the moment it knows you're in the silo. The corridors are where the fighting happens, and the game goes full-time Crisis or Virtual Cop. Pushing left or right C with the reticle on screen makes you jut in that direction, allowing you to peek in and out of cover like it's a light gun game. which is very helpful as the crate guards are a special type of guard rocking a nasty aimbot permanently affixed on your position. You can even see one of them taking aim at you through a wall in the opening cinematic. The frame you come into view is the frame they open fire, so the ability to dive in and out of cover quickly is a lifesaver here. All of the objectives are in the fuel rooms between the hallways and silos. These are the rooms where you're going to be planting your C4, finding circuitry, most of which is named after the hardware of the N64, photograph the Goldeneye satellite, and collect keycards and the DAT from a scientist. Silo is also the first level in the game to have armor on 00, which is handy for blowing past Ourumov because that asshole will tank a million bullets before he fucks off of his own volition. With business handled, we casually ride an elevator to the surface while the silo goes kablamo. Frigate is another great level, a return to the non-linear design. Like Damn, Rare took a scene from the movie and expanded upon it. What was mostly Bond gambling and Xenia snoo-snooing some poor bastard to death before stealing a helicopter is now a full-blown Counter-Strike map. Bomb defusal and hostage rescue all in one mission. Our final jump ahead in the Goldeneye timeline to present-day 1995, members of the Yanis crime syndicate have boarded the frigate, planted bombs in the engine room and bridge, taken hostages, and are preparing to steal the new pirate stealth helicopter. Naturally, the French, being their usual Frenchy selves, can't handle business for shit, so they spin the beg for help wheel and it lands on England this time. The British government agrees to deal with the situation so long as the French allow Yanis to steal the helicopter so MI6 can track it and finally get a tangible lead on the organization. We start the level with a suppressed D5K. This is the only level in the game we get it, and while it is a cool gun that I like very much, we're going to be ditching it right quick because this is also the only level in the game we get the fucking Phantom. And as nice as a suppressed weapon would be in a hostage situation, there's no need to worry about stealth as the hostage takers are deaf and will not react to any amount of gunfire, and the hostages are immune to all bullets not fired by you or the guards holding them at gunpoint. The Phantom is one of the very few weapons in the game to exceed 1 damage per shot with a value of 1.4. It's also rocking a 50-round magazine, a feature my crippling reload lust will not allow me to take advantage of. Frigate is a topsy-turvy mess of tight corridors. Not quite labyrinthian, as there aren't really any wrong ways to go, just no way to get anywhere quickly once you're in the belly of the beast. There are 7 hostages spread throughout the level, and on 00 we need to rescue at least 6 of them. The engine room should be an absolute clusterfuck as it's littered with guards both high and low, a bomb on a computer a few stray bullets can easily detonate, and a hostage tucked away in a corner with a guard ready to blast him if he so much as catches a glimpse of us in his peripheral vision. Fortunately, guards in Goldeneye are incredibly stupid and cannot see over railings, a quirk in the engine I will gladly abuse to breeze through this section and will be abusing the shit out of later in the game. The disarming of bombs is easy, just pause, switch to your diffuser, and press Z. If you're feeling brave, you can press B, but don't say I didn't warn you. Lastly, we need to place a tracker bug on the helicopter, and it's very clearly not a covert modem because it's called a tracker bug. Attach it to the chopper and return to the speedboat to exit the level. MI6 tracks the pirate helicopter back to the bunker in Severnaya we visited a few years ago. A British satellite recorded a shootout and the pirate leaving a short while later and a shit ton of Spetsnaz converging on the bunker. Destroy cameras, break communications, destroy troop transport, and enter the bunker. Welcome to Surface 2. It is a masterclass on how to not recycle a level. We spawn in the same location and immediately run to the same cabin to kill a guard for a key. It's for the satellite dish building this time, so we skip the next cabin and run to the one that had the safe, but just to destroy a camera outside of it. Then we venture deeper into a corner of the level for another camera, then it's back to the dish building for the final camera and to the same control room to destroy the computers instead of turning them off. Plant a mine on the Spetsnaz helicopter and cap it all off by foolishly entering the bunker through the front door instead of the air vent and promptly get captured. It's Surface 1 with worse visibility and infinitely spawning guards who can't land a shot on you to save their lives because they're mostly rocking clobs, and no fun grenade launcher shot to attempt at the end. Truly an unfortunate occurrence. Welcome to Bunker 2. It's still good. We meet Natalia in prison. She's been framed for the theft of the Goldeneye by Ourumov and, like us, is awaiting execution. But it's okay because we have a cunning plan. Use the watch magnet to snatch our cell key off the wall, then fuck rush the guard and beat his ass to death. Stealth is kind of a big deal in Goldeneye. Making noise attracts the attention of guards, and in some levels like Bunker 2, making too much noise causes infinite guards to spawn and home in on your position. Starting in prison means we don't have our suppressed PP7, but Rare decided not to leave you completely high and dry and put some throwing knives down this... well? I have never once in my life thought about what this is until this exact moment. Now, the throwing knives are all fine and dandy. They're pretty powerful, dealing 3 damage per hit, but a little unruly to aim as they fly out of the right side of the screen instead of the center. Fortunately for us, stealth doesn't really exist in Goldeneye. As I said earlier, generating too much noise causes guards to start spawning into the level who know where you are at all times. So the question is, what is too much noise? It isn't firing an unsuppressed weapon, it's firing an unsuppressed weapon too fast. The KF7 defaults to a 3-round burst if you tap the trigger, which does make too much noise. However, if you bring up the aiming reticle, you can fire at single shot, which doesn't make too much noise. The hit you take to mobility using the reticle is well worth the increased engagement range and more predictable shot placement over the throwing knives. And the kneecapping of your movement while fighting doesn't last long either. Objective D, recover Goldeneye Operations Manual, the objective I like to complete first, also nets you akimbo suppressed PP7s, solving the noise issue entirely. The nature of the attack on the bunker has Em convinced it was an inside job, so she wants us to compare the staff list to the casualty lists for Objective A so we can point fingers at the survivors and further compound their survivor's guilt. Objective E, escape with Natalia, is different from frigate hostages as you really need to bend over backwards for her. She has no self-governance and will follow you around with a nasty habit of waltzing straight into your line of fire. It's a lot easier to keep her alive if you clear out the bunker and handle all the objectives before you release her. Being the basement-dwelling nerd that she is, Natalia wants to say goodbye to the computers one last time, and oh no! Ourumov is firing the Goldeneye on Severnaya to cover his tracks! Shoutouts to the computers for gaining sentience and freaking the fuck out over the impending EMP. Following our little Severnaya field trip, the case goes cold again. Yanis has discovered and destroyed the tracker on the pirate and have abducted Natalia in St. Petersburg after she refused to enter witness protection with the British government because Russia is a very safe country where bad things never happen. In a last-ditch effort to get the case going again, M has arranged a meeting with ex-KGB agent turned Russian mob boss Valentin Zakovsky, who can in turn get us a meeting with Yanis himself. Statue is a level that exists. I remember back in the day, kids from all over the neighborhood would come running to our house when it became known we were the ones who knew how to beat Statue. If you can't turn up the brightness on your TV, then yeah, Statue can be a real pain in the ass. Fortunately, through the power of GIMP, I can show you the way. So you start right here, run around, all through here, round there, go through here, cut around the pillars, enter the crate, talk to Valentin, go out, round all the way over here, hug the wall, and boom, you're done. We have our meeting with Valentin, and he's scheduled the meeting with Yanis for right now, at the statue of Lenin in this very park, forewarning us that Yanis is a Lenin's Cossack, a group of Russian and Ukrainian citizens who teamed up with Satan to fight the devil in World War II and were repatriated by the Brits back to the Soviets following the conclusion of the European front. TLDR, Yanis has an unquenchable hate boner for all things British. So we book it over to the statue, and oh no! Yanis is really fallen MI6 hero and Bond's dead best friend, Alec Trevelyan. He and Ourumov were only play fighting 9 years ago. Trev vows to avenge his parents, then does the stupid villain thing of not killing witnesses on the spot, and instead has Natalia subdued near the pirate stealth helicopter at the park gate. Rigged the blow in 3 minutes. So we follow my map backwards, wake Nat the fuck up, steer clear of the helicopter before it explodes, then meander around for the black box because it's evidence or some shit. Natalia warps out of existence, and Mishkin is here. Ah, Mr. Bond, I see you've taken it upon yourself to liven up the nightlife in St. Petersburg. Blowing up helicopters, shooting guards? Bitch, fuck you! This was a pacifist run. Mishkin is taking us in for questioning about the Severnaya incident, so off to military archives we go. Objective A, escape interrogation room. Literally leave the spawn room. It's fine, I don't mind it because it makes sense. I imagine Bunker 2 would have had an escape jail cell objective if the game supported more than 5 objectives. Just bitch slap homie for his key and book it out of there. Archives, like Bunker 2, is a stealth mission where too much noise will spawn guards. Unfortunately, Bunker 2 is the final mission in the game to feature suppressed weapons, so we'll have to slow tap fire the KF-7 for the entire level. It's a lot easier to lose guards and avoid fights altogether in Archives than it is in Bunker 2, so we'll be releasing Natalia immediately, which is also an objective. Very redundant, given escape with Natalia is the safeguard meant to fail the mission should you leave the level without her, or if she were to meet her untimely demise. We meet up with Mishkin, who's magically had a change of heart. Maybe he talked to Natalia, maybe he listened to the flight recorder, or maybe he just hates Oramov. Who knows? Who cares? He gives us the key to the safe, shoutouts to Rare for not making that an objective. We retrieve the black box and make our way out to the streets, and Natalia's gone. Bond and Natalia are fucking idiots who spent too much time celebrating their great escape just for Oramov to casually peer out of the archives, run up from behind, yoink Natalia vaudeville style, and jet off, leaving Bond bemused and enraged by her sudden disappearance. The streets of St. Petersburg is an epic scene in the film, and as a level, it's there. It's fine for what it is, and what it is isn't much. We get the tank once more, but before we can go joyriding, we have to talk to Valentine. There are ups and downs to being in the tank. You still have the 75% damage reduction, but you're also a larger target, so you'll be taking more hits. You also have to contend with cars and landmines littering the street, which will explode if collided with, and the occasional civilian who can easily and unwittingly crawl under your tank treads and die, failing Objective D. Like I said, Streets is fine and I don't mind it. What isn't fine is Depot. Depot is good. We're once again taking on Yanis Marines, so D5K's aplenty, but no Phantoms, because fuck us apparently, that's a frigate exclusive weapon right there. We need to destroy an arms cache, a computer network, and steal helicopter blueprints. I like to hit the arms cache first because it has proximity mines, which are super useful in this level. Whenever you enter a warehouse, a shit ton of guards spawn in and post up outside for an ambush. A few proximity mines can help thin the herd out before you even have to engage them. There's also a rocket launcher in the arms cache, which is handy dandy for dealing with Mr. Turret guarding the computer network. After handling business, we catch a ride on Trevelyan's train, and unless you're Half-Life, trains and first-person shooters go together like peanut butter and jelly. I said Silo was possibly the best linear level in the game because it has to contend with train. A grueling battle to push forward through freight cars filled to the brim with crate guards still rocking that nasty aimbot, passenger cars where enemies bull rush in large numbers from the front and sneak up from behind, and luxury cars where baddies could be left, right, front, or back, randomized every attempt. Destruction in Goldeneye is pretty funny because nearly everything explodes. In theory, it would be very beneficial to destroy enemy cover on train. In practice, it's a waste of ammo and a detriment to yourself. It only takes 5 of your bullets to destroy a crate, while it'll take a few volleys of enemy fire before it gives up its ghost. Additionally, objects need to be destroyed 3 times before they're no longer factored into your projectile collision. Enemies can shoot clean through them after 1 destruction while you're left high and dry. Funny enough, the same principle applies to the enemies themselves. They can't shoot through each other unless they're shooting through a corpse. This dramatic sway and drop animation is scary because he's now a one-way ballistic shield, not in your favor. Each car has a brake unit that needs to be destroyed for Objective A. Completing A will also lure the guard who has the key to the car where Trev, Xenia, and Oramov are holding Natalia captive. In 00 Agent, you need to shoot Xenia after killing Oramov, or else Nat won't have enough time to complete Objective D. We gotta cut open the floor with our watch laser while Nat hacks Boris, who's working with Trev and co. She determines Boris and the rest of Yanis are in Cuba, so now we're bringing her along for the mission because she's really good at computers and Goldeneye things. Jungle is Nightmare Land. Green walls, green foliage, and dense green fog with turrets and guards both clad in green camo. Vision is pure ass, and you can easily drop dead in as little as 4 hits from somebody or something you had no chance in hell of seeing, as turrets deal 2 damage per hit and all guards are toting AR-33s, dealing 1.4 damage per hit. Basically, a phantom with far greater accuracy and a terrifyingly high rate of fire, granting a higher probability of landing 3 hits in a volley. Fortunately, Jungle is one of the few levels to still have most of its armor pickups available in 00 Agent. Jungle is also where I took my first death of the playthrough in spectacular fashion, but not because of any of the reasons which constitute Nightmare Land status. Remember how objects need to be destroyed 3 times before they stop factoring into your projectile collision? Yeah, I destroyed this turret once. Anyway, Jungle's objectives are fairly straightforward. Destroy all turrets and destroy weapons cache without blowing yourself to smithereens. Kill Xenia gives us our first proper boss fight of the game. It should be a ball buster as she's packing an RCP-90, dealing 1.8 damage per shot, and a fucking grenade launcher to boot. All while rocking a butt ton of armor, so no pain state for like 80% of her health, meaning no stun locking till she's already on death's doorstep. However, railing abuse trivializes the shit out of this fight. The guards at the end aren't worth fighting, as they infinitely respawn, so just blow past them and book it to the elevator. Control room is fun, but a touch slower pace than the rest of the game. The opening is slow on any difficulty higher than Agent, because there are roof-mounted turrets which will melt the shit out of you if you don't take your time. Destroying the armored mainframes is slow, because one of them is defended by more roof-mounted turrets that will melt the shit out of you if you don't take your time. And defending Natalia while she tells the Goldeneye satellite to go fuck itself in COBOL is slow because it's programmed to be slow. The defense sequence is not terribly difficult if you know where to position yourself. I like to stand here because you can quickly flip between both staircases and the 2 windows guards come from. Don't blow up these 2 mainframes until the protect phase is over, or you'll have 6 points of entry to worry about instead of 4. Guards without hats are gunning for Natalia and won't shoot until they've taken up position, while guards with hats want your ass and will start shooting the moment they have line of sight. Going back to the subject of slow, unlike every other Keep Natalia Alive objective in the game, which is completed upon level exit with Natalia safe and sound, Objective A, Protect Natalia, won't complete until Nat has returned to her spawn point at the beginning of the level and has fully vanished from existence. She also moves slow as shit, so if you don't know that little pearl of wisdom, or like me, completely forgot about it, and you book it to the end right after handling B and C, you'll be greeted with a great big fuck you because you were too fast and Control Room hates you for that. Anyway, I imagine the Goldeneye dev team watched the film a bunch during the development of the game, like they just had the movie on repeat in the break room or something. As such, I imagine somebody, after the 10,000th time of watching the scene where the antenna cradle rises from the depths and the lake drains revealing the dish, got super philosophical and said to themselves, "Where water go? Bond kill people there? Caverns, bitches!" Despite spawning with one of the best guns in the game, the ZMG, and going ham on railing abuse, this is still the hardest level in the campaign. Guards in this level are all rocking AR-33s, RCP-90s, automatic shotguns, and akimbo ZMGs, so if you make any mistakes, your health goes bye-bye real quick. 3 of the 5 objectives in this level is blow shit up. Instead of Alec having Boris drain the dish and raise the antenna, we're gonna destroy the hardware that controls both systems, revealing them ourselves. Bit of a random script writing thought here. If Alec wasn't such a fucking hardhead and had listened to Boris in the film and chose not to expose the operation earlier than absolutely necessary, Bond and Natalia probably would have sat around in the jungle clueless until they no longer had enough time to infiltrate the base and mess with the satellite before it rained hell on London. Anyway, Objective E is the worst don't kill somebody objective in the entire game. Scientists in Facility and Silo piss themselves silly when they see you, then actively try to get away from you. The hostages in Frigate roam around the level for an exit, but they tend to stay out of your way. The civilians in Street are super oblivious and can run into your tank if you're not careful, but I wouldn't go so far as to say they're trying to die. The scientists in Caverns are trying to fucking die. Like, these motherfuckers will see you and immediately bust a move and do a jig in front of the thing you need to blow up to complete the mission. They're assholes and I hate them and I wish I could off them, but I can't. It's really hard to do, but if you can sneak up behind them and pop up in their face, they can get freaked out and retreat properly like scientists of previous levels. Unfortunately, that ain't gonna happen more often than not. The next area with garbage you need to destroy has no scientists to worry about, but it's a 2-floor nightmare. You enter the room at the upper level with a shit ton of guards directly left and right of you, as well as a roof-mounted turret. The 4 consoles you need to destroy are on the lower level, along with 3 guards who can see and shoot through the floor because this room is like Surface. If you walk into this room, you die. You'll be hosed by everyone and their grandmother, including through the floor by the lower guards whose bullets don't play by the same rules. So post up in the doorway and lure this lower guard to your position, as all the guards in this room are deaf and can't hear your gunshots, but can see their friends dying no problem. The edges of these hexagonal doorways count as railings, so abuse the shit out of that to pick off guards as they come to you, as well as the handling of the turret. The final computer that needs polishing off is by far the trickiest. It's toward the end of the level in this alcove. There are 2 scientists here, as well as a radio we need to use for Objective C, but the real star of this shit show are the guards in the alcove and the explosive barrels lining the back wall. You cannot afford to miss many shots on these guys, lest the alcove go up in smoke, but it's worse than that, all thanks to this motherfucker right here. This guy is Bomberman. He has a gun, but he'll never fucking use it, not even once. He just spams grenades like a professional Battlefield 2 player, and if he has an errant throw, which he almost always will, poof. C complete, D failed. Anyway, lure the guards out of the room, then railing abuse the door jam to snipe this guy, and that should lure Bomberman out, at which point you can bull rush the remaining guards. The end of Caverns is terrifying. A hallway with 2 roof-mounted turrets and a butt-ton of guards waiting on the other side, while infinitely spawning guards rocking RCP-90s and automatic shotguns backshank you. I died twice here, once misplaying the turret and getting stun-locked into oblivion, and again playing too cautiously just to get backshanked. On to the final stop of the campaign, the antenna cradle. Armor right out of the gate because it's ZMGs all day, every day, and you're gonna get batted around like a pinball, especially on the opening bridge and catwalks. More violence against computer hardware for Objective A. Objective B, settle the score with Trevelyan, marks the second boss fight of the game. Normally, you and Trev would frolic all about the cradle, exchanging gunfire whenever Trev pauses for a breather, but it's super easy to hurt him into going to the same 2 spots over and over again by running between the 2 center buildings instead of following him. Doing so also allows for free headshots courtesy of our friend Railing Abuse. Eventually, Trev will go into final stand mode and we follow him down to the antenna. I took my final death of the campaign here when Trev disappeared up the ladder and then hit me with a nuclear-powered drop shot. My second attempt at the level went off without a hitch. Natalia shows up with a stolen helicopter and flies us away to the safety of the communist Cuban jungle so we can first base it while the credits roll. The campaign is finished, but the fun has only just begun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Aztec, the first of Goldeneye's 2 secret levels. 2 objectives, reprogram shuttle guidance and launch shuttle. Aztec 00 is hell on wheels. By far and away the hardest level in the game. Shit tons of AR-33, shit tons of roof-mounted turrets, and shit tons of Moonraker lasers which deal 2 whole damage per hit and are crazy accurate. And only 1 armor pickup in the entire level. Across the main campaign, I died 4 times. In Aztec alone, I died 5 times and aborted many more attempts due to excessive health loss far too early into the level. Right out of the gate, you've got 3 guards in the first room, 2 to the left of you and 1 to the right. Take out Right Boy first, so both lefties rush you. More often than not, one will pull a nade while the other tries to shoot you. Grenades are easier to dodge than bullets, so handle Gunboy first. Room 2 is easier because half the guards will rush you, but you have a door you can abuse. It's the 3 crate guards who are real trouble, so take your time and pick them off carefully. Shit gets real scary when we get to the shuttle room. You gotta contend with 4 roof-mounted turrets and 4 crate guards rocking Moonraker lasers and that nasty crate guard aimbot. Pick off this turret and get your ass behind a crate and carefully handle the rest. After that, head up to the exhaust bay controls and close it to regain access to the first half of the level. And then do yourself a favor and pause like 10 times. You get this lovely animation of Bond bringing his watch to bear every time you pause, and you can and will be shot during it. Every time you pause, the animation speeds up a little, so spamming a dozen pauses here while it's safe to do so will save you precious time during the 2 mandatory pauses we have coming up. We have our third boss fight of the game against Jaws. He has a fuck ton of health and armor and akimbo AR-33s. Railing abused the shit out of him in the stairwell with the laser, as you'll need all the AR-33 ammo you can get for once to come. Once he goes on to his eternal reward, we are officially out of time as infinitely spawning Moonraker laser guards are locked into our position. Jaws dropped a key card for the glass doors in the first half of the level, so book it there and take out the guards, open the glass door, and close them behind you. Grab the launch protocol data and take your first mandatory pause to pull out the guidance data to reprogram the rocket. Fight your way back to the shuttle room, take the second mandatory pause, switch to the data tape and start the launch, then book it up the ladder to open the exhaust bay. Congratulations on beating the hardest level in Goldeneye. And with that, we're right back to Easy Town, the final mission of the game, Egypt. 2 objectives again, retrieve Golden Gun and kill Baron Samedi. The level is chock full of ZMG guards, but they pose little threat courtesy of the 15 million pillars that litter the map. Retrieving the Golden Gun is a thing that exists. You have to walk a zigzaggy path to the Golden Gun altar, or else it'll lock itself up and you'll get blasted by invincible turrets. I don't recall the Golden Gun path ever being a huge deal, as no neighborhood kids ever came running over looking for help with it, but I was also barely not 3 when this game came out, so I could be misremembering. Anyway, Baron Samedi has to be put down 3 times for Objective B, and the Golden Gun makes it a breeze, as it'll 1-shot him the first 2 times, and 2-shot him the 3rd time if it isn't a headshot. Anyway, I wanted to dedicate the final section of this video to the cheats, an optional challenge for the completionists out there. Every level has 1 target time. Beat the level on that difficulty at or under the target time and you unlock a cheat. I remembered them being fairly hard, but no. With the exception of Facility, Archives, Train, Caverns, and Aztec, they're all really easy. The only way you're gonna fail them is if you're playing the game blind and don't know where to go or what to do. It took me 3 attempts to get invincibility. I could have gotten it in fewer attempts, but I was only checking the 3 best doke spawns and not the 2 along the way. I did it with 29 seconds to spare, so I had plenty of time to check those spots as well. I think its reputation as being the hardest cheat stems from the fact that it's not only the first 00 agent cheat, but also the first cheat that requires you to be legitimately fast, further compounded by 2 of Doke's 7 spawn points ending the run immediately. I still say the cheats in Archives, Train, Caverns, and Aztec are more difficult though. And that, my friends, is Goldeneye, a landmark title in the history of first-person shooters on console, and a fantastic game still worth your time to this very day. I didn't mention it earlier, but another talking point that always gets brought up whenever Goldeneye re-enters the gaming hivemind is that it didn't age well. In my opinion, that's almost true, and I can explain exactly why in just 2 words. Perfect fucking dark.